people are like, oh my gosh, what a fun job. And it's like, it is still a job. We happen to be really fun and have fun while we do it. Hey, I'm Russ.
And I'm Danny.
And this is the Memory Makers Podcast.
The show focused on helping you create amazing customer experiences and make more memories.
I'm making memories. You other don't know how to act. I don't know how to make that rhyme, but I felt a little JT today.
There it is. I didn't know where it was going at first.
It's that I'm bringing sexy back.
There it is. Bringing memories back. Excellent.
You mother don't know how to act.
That was a very good bleep of yourself.
Well, I don't want to add to the swear jar, so.
Swear jar.
Yeah.
I had something before we get started I wanted to mention. You know how sometimes thoughts randomly pop in your head? And this happened right before we sat down to start recording. There are phrases, I'm finding this so fascinating. Phrases we use all the time that we never think about, where did this come from? Like, what was the origin of where this phrase comes from? And one of them that people use all the time is pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
I actually know the origin.
Is it with choo-choo trains?
It is not.
Okay.
No, it has to do with organs, the instrument.
Oh.
And so organs have these physical stops in the pipes.
Yeah.
And it dampens the sound. And
if
you pull all of them out, it makes the organ the loudest possible.
Oh, bringing the noise, bringing the funk.
I learned that, I believe it was an interview with Hans Zimmer. Because he was, I think it was for Interstellar, he was using organs for that, and he was talking about that phrase.
Yeah, I was thinking when you said Hans Zimmer, I was thinking of what's that German director where he's like super depressing anyway, is that him?
No, Werner Herzog?
Yeah, Werner Herzog. And he always talks like this, and I would rather eat a bag of potato chips than eat in a fine dining restaurant. I find all of that formality to be wildly indigestible. What? I'm just saying.
You just wanted an excuse to do a German accent.
What?
Russ likes accents a lot.
I do. I have fun with the voices. So Franz from Father of the Bride is always,
Well, speaking of having fun, great segue. We just had a lot of fun this morning.
We sure did.
One of the things that we had a chance to do at Creative Works, we create powerful emotions and memories through immersive attractions, mini golf, laser tag, virtual reality, all these different things that we do and build. And our team members all participate in a certain portion of the process, whether it's designing or engineering, or they're in the wood shop or foam sculpting or tech integration or anywhere else. They see kind of pieces of the puzzle. Yeah. But we like to be able to bring our team to a place where they can see the whole picture and experience the entire attraction. So we have a new venue that opened recently on the south side of Indianapolis called Combat Ops. David Dimberio is the owner there. It's his second location. The first one's in the northern Indiana in Fort Wayne. And we took our whole staff over there this morning.
It was awesome. I mean, getting everybody to cut loose, but getting in to do it in a way where they get to remember what it's all about and kind of connect the dots to a real human experience, as opposed to this is the daily grind or the gig, right? Because that stuff always has its frustrations. And that's just so easy for all of us to fall into the trappings of that on a day-to-day basis. And so then by getting a chance to take a step back and focus on that, we've always been big advocates of being able to come together as a team in different ways and connect on a human-to-human level. It's just that secret sauce of culture. And so being able to have everybody get together and do a little trash talking and have some fun while we're doing it was a blast this morning.
And that, for us, was a really easy way to determine what we wanted today's topic to be about. Because we left that experience this morning, and I went, we need to talk about that today in the podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we got a chance to go there, and special thank you to David and his team, because they were great. But really, this episode is all about the importance of culture and some of the specific ways you can help develop that. So we had a chance to do axe throwing, the mini golf that we had made for them. We got to do all the arcade games, the Triotech Dark Ride, their tactical laser tag, and it was just a really great time.
Yeah, I mean, getting everybody in a spot where we're able to just not talk about the nuts and bolts. Now, to be fair, half of our team, when we are going through the attractions and things, we're talking shop and, going into that aspect, which is good from a standpoint, but it was also really fun to see everybody just, again, big smiles. And as we got to the end of it, Armando and Kim, always do such a great job of reminding us of this, but whether it's the people that are coming to play the mini golf or play in that laser tag arena. I mean, that is what we do, right? It's not the making of attractions. It's creating opportunities for people to celebrate and escape. And when we're in this business of fun, or if you guys as operators are in that business of fun, it's really easy sometimes to lose sight of it when you're dealing with a, irksome mom because the pizzas didn't come out on time or you have someone with just some unrealistic expectations, or there's been a service gap, or all of that stuff that is going to be there because human beings are involved. But it really helps us reconnect to the truer, deeper purpose of what these things bring about. And that it made my heart very, very happy.
It reminds me, there was a few years back when the team at Alley Cats in Texas had invited me to come down to speak to their staff at both their locations. And something that I just remembered that I told them, because, their operations, they see all the kids and the families every day.
Yeah.
And what I had said to them at the very opening of the presentation, I said, all right, everyone think back to your childhood. Who here has a memory of a birthday that was just the best, so much fun, absolute blast, just like a core memory from a birthday? And every single person raised their hand. I went, great. Every day you have the opportunity to make that for someone who walks in this center.
Yeah.
And just kind of reminding them to connect the dots of like, yes, it's busy and there's tons of people in there. And of course there's the day-to-day frustrations like you mentioned, but there is a bigger picture, and the impact that it can have on the guests who walk through those doors is immense.
Yeah. And when people are coming to the centers, it's to do that celebrate or escape aspect, and they're spending time and money here with you, and you only have this, limited amount of time to be able to have and help facilitate those things. And I think that you have to be really intentional about bringing that up. I mean, we did that back in our laser flash days, where we would do all sorts of different things to remind ourselves and connect ourselves that this is, people are like, oh my gosh, what a fun job. And it's like, it is still a job. We happen to be really fun and have fun while we do it. Mm-hmm. And so, it's always going to have those opportunities for frustration, but you weather those pieces and they roll right off your back because you're connected to the truer purpose of it. And so it's really just awesome to see that, hey, it worked when we were in the FECs. It works when we're, in a 100 strong company. I mean, these are the fundamental truths that don't really change. And there's a lot of market research that we've gone back through and looked at that reinforce a lot of this stuff. And so, whether it's Dr. Noel Nelson, who does a ton of studies in, employee satisfaction, but was talking about you're going to make more money by making your employees happy. So it's not just an altruistic thing. It allows you to, retain employees and lower costs and avoid other major pain points by creating an environment where your employees can connect and be seen and heard in all sorts of ways. So, even Fortune's 100 best to work for companies, their stocks of them grew 15% versus 5%, when they're looking at these kinds of things. So there are real fiscal, tangible benefits to it beyond, the deeper purpose, which hopefully everyone has a good foundation of that, of wanting to do it because you want to be that force for good or you want to have that positive impact. You get to have your cake and eat it too in this circumstance, and that is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. And so in this particular circumstance, what we did was a staff outing, right? And part of what that does is it breaks down the barriers, right? Because we all got grouped and put into a group of 5 of departments that don't necessarily work together as often, or people that we wouldn't be shoulder to shoulder with in our jobs, and just got to let us see other people and get to know them more and compete with them and have fun with them and understand what are the arcade games that make them smile. What are the ones that go, oh, so close, you almost got it.
I will tell you, to see almost everybody circled around the boxing punch things and the the macho competition that came from that, and then you've got the other group of folks that are doing the ball drop and you're trying to get those in. I mean, all of these things are designed to be able to bring people together, and it's just so fun to get to do that for sure. And I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say I spent a little bit of time at Big Buck Hunter and reliving my glory days from, the Flash, although I'm not quite the dead shot that I used to be on that bad boy.
Not quite. We were pretty good back in the day.
Logged a lot of hours doing that one.
For sure. And, here's the thing is, any of you that are listening that are operators, right? You have these attractions at your venue, and you have the opportunity to open your own venue and let all of your employees play your own attractions, which is great. And also, if you want to provide something different, right? A completely different experience, look for someone in your market that's not necessarily direct competitor because they're a certain distance away and you don't really steal from one another's market. but that's got a different set of attractions than you do, and do some sort of a trade out with them. Like, hey, you bring your staff here on a Sunday night, and we'll close a couple hours early or after we close, and you guys can have some fun, and then we come to your location. Because if you do laser tag and mini golf and axe throwing and some other pieces like Combat Apps does, but there's a place that's 20 miles away that they have bowling and trampolines and go-karts, it's like, okay, this is a great opportunity for us to do a trade out where it's not really going to cost us anything, but it gives all of our staff a really cool way to connect and bond together.
Yeah, and beyond just them, I was joking about how some of our folks were still talking some shop and things like that, but people will realize, oh, this is what it's like when I'm going to play this game and it's not up and it needs servicing or things. So it gets you, things that you can become nose blind to from your normal perspective is wonderful. But we wouldn't even do like venue trade outs and swap outs and stuff when we were at Laser Flash, and even here at Creative Works, we do other things that, like, what are potluck dinners, like, for the holiday season, we did a chili cook-off competition where everybody was bringing in their different recipes and talking about that. And it is always so gratifying to see people coming together of, oh, you're not a bison chili guy, or you're more of a, who brought the chicken chili? And just all of those little things that really come together, because it, I think, helps fortify the bonds that we all are working towards the same goals, and that we remind that ourselves that everyone else is in it here and trying, we're all rowing together to try to make the boat go. And the social competition of what our business is just such a natural extension of that. And so it allows people to come together in those fun ways. So like the potluck family nights are really good ones. We would do things like intramural sports, so, okay, hey, we want to put together a softball league team, or creating social opportunities outside of your walls for your staff to be able to come together. It helps you keep the small things small. It helps you tune in of when you're doing peer reviews or job satisfaction, any of that. You're just getting past the black and white that goes on to a survey or something else too, right? It's just a better emotional tool to be able to keep your finger on the pulse of how everyone's doing too, which I really love.
And if you do something like that, of an intramural league kickball or something like that, is everyone on your staff going to participate? No. And that's okay. Yeah. It doesn't have to be every single person for every single thing. And it really comes down to creating the opportunities and being intentional about creating a space for people to engage with one another.
Yeah, and we've even done things where, okay, we're going to do paid time off for people to go do volunteer projects and stuff together. And those people want to pick a certain thing that they want to work towards, or something that's really important to them. And we have service projects and things that we do as well. And so finding different dialects or avenues for people to have something that resonates with them, because then when we're in a arms race of, trying not to just have the minimum wage, or what's your sticky factor that's going to make it easier for people not to just chase a higher paycheck somewhere else. It's because the people that you work with are important to you, or, and when you have people going off to college, right? We're in such a high turnover rate from the FEC operator side. It's inherently built that way with just who our employee pool typically is and what they're made of, that then you get those folks coming back, or it makes people more willing to cover shifts for one another. And so you're just not having to put out as many fires or spin as many plates, because you have more people in a group flow aspect that give a hoot about each other. So I'm still trying to avoid the swear jar. But those things matter. And it may not be something that they even recognize in the moment that it was super important for them. But especially, and because of what's, working at Laser Flash in that environment where we did so many of these things and continue to do them today, you are setting the foundation of what and how people show up at work for the rest of their lives for each other. And so the long-term impact of how those people are going to go off and be employees elsewhere once they're even beyond your doors, is that ripple effect is huge, let alone all of the great things that they're doing to service your guests as they're coming in and enjoying everything that you have to offer. So it's such a win-win. And that, again, paying everybody to go play games for 2 hours seems like, some folks that have a closed hand and a scarcity mindset, that's going to be something that really ruffles your feathers and sends off all kinds of alarm bells. Should maybe take a little bit of a look in the mirror in that, because that 2 hours for those folks to do that versus constantly having to hire one more person because someone else just left, or, the retaining employees is so much more cost effective and it's just showing up for people the way that you would want to be shown up for yourself. So
it really, the word for me, and this is kind of the last point I'll make as we wrap up here, is the word intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
There's intentionality with creating moments that your team can align and grow together. Because if you leave your culture growth to randomness, it's a recipe for mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our eyes, these kinds of things, and these are just a few examples of the things that you can do, this is how you can lead to a more engaged team.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you can deliver a better guest and customer experience. And this is how you can retain your staff for a longer period of time in an industry that's built for high turnover. So for us, it was really important to talk about this topic. And I think for me, that seems like a pretty good place to wrap up today's episode.
I would agree. And so had a blast with you. And Mike, next time that we're doing these things, I'm going to have you put down the camera a little bit more and throw a few more axes, friend. Okay? All right. So with that, we are going to continue to have more episodes coming your guys' way. We're really excited for the lineup that we have, especially as we're into the new year and taking on all of the new challenges and all of that fun stuff. The beat goes on, as we say. The beat goes on.
Do we say that?
No, it's an old song. But it's important because, you guys have delivered such wonderful feedback for us and giving us more ideas for content and things that you guys want to explore. And we're just so grateful that this is something that's serving you guys. So we want to continue to bring back a ton of those things through these weekly episodes.
Shout out to David Dimberio from Combat Ops because he told me today he listens to the podcast. Appreciate that, David.
Make sure you stay to the end and listen to some of these crazy bloopers that Mike's doing as well, David.
And if for the rest of you out there, if you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.
And we always appreciate that 5 stars. Please and thank you.
If you've got ideas for future topics or episodes, follow us on social media. Send us a DM.
And big shout out to Mikey Mike as always for running the Ultranet. And thank you for joining us. And we will catch you on the next one, Troublemakers.
All right, we did it.
Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Free mahi mahi. Free mahi mahi. Do not use that. When we were cute.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm adorable.
Use that one, Mike. Yeah. Guys, we are currently in a lawsuit with Creed, okay? So we're going to need some Patreon stuff happening. This is what happens when you employ dorks.
This is what happens when you employ dorks and put them in front of a camera.
Yeah. Are we recording, Mike?
Yeah, we are. Okay.